Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Wanna bet?
SDPN, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Hey, it's Dangle's birthday plus one.
Yeah!
Happy birthday, Steve!
Hooray!
How was it? Did you have a good birthday?
I did.
35 years old.
Yeah. You know what's great about your birthday? There's no lactose intolerance.
No, that doesn't exist.
It doesn't happen.
Well, it doesn't exist till the next day.
No. I've decided it's more of a sensitivity.
Okay.
And I was A-okay. I'm not like Jesse over here.
Oh, Jesse is immediate. Immediate
Just,
fart.
Hot air balloon.
Just immediate toots. He's like,
Steve.
You start in your lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's Jesse.
I didn't know exactly what was going to be there. I knew my parents were going to get food from Lamanna's Bakery.
Of course.
In Scarborough.
By the way, they have like a huge Instagram following. Eh?
Oh,
this
they're
bakery we grew up with.
This like
In
hole in the
Scarborough.
wall.
Yeah.
Hole in the wall. I knew they were going places when they took over the building next door.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was like, okay, if there's just chicken cutlets, I think I'll be fine. But then there was also lasagna and arancini, and I went, all right, we're going all in. We're going all in, boys.
Love that.
And Leo was sitting beside me, and he would just put his fist in my cake and just took all my icing. And I'm sure he's going to poop blue today.
He ate your pancakes too.
And my pancakes, the little shit. Yeah, he... it was great. I got, pampered for my birthday. It was a great time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys do, I have to say, you and Mrs. Dangle make a really...
Cute couple.
You make a cute couple. You guys do parties well. You do birthdays well. When you guys used to do Halloween parties,
all
you did them really well. You guys do them
All
great. Your birthday cake was unbelievable. If you haven't seen this, look up Mrs. Dangle on Twitter. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Freaking SDPN cake.
Yeah. Very cool.
She knows like all the cake spots. Where to go get cakes.
You know who doesn't do birthdays well?
You?
Me.
Yeah.
I don't do them well at all. Your birthday present will be on the way. Did I get Jesse anything for Christmas? No.
Wait, on the way?
Yeah. No, I've got something
dude,
for
you
you.
don't have to get
No, I'm
me
getting you something. No, and the reason I keep getting stuff, the reason we continue to give gifts on this show after 10 years together.
You hate gifts.
I hate gifts. The reason we continue to do it is because Jesse is such a good effing gift giver that we have no choice but to try to match him.
I didn't get you anything.
I know, but you get our kids stuff.
Yeah.
And he gets really good stuff for the kids. So I've already texted Gabby, who's Jesse's not fiance, even though I swear to God they're engaged.
We're not.
And
no ring.
Congrats.
Congrats. They went to Greece for 2 weeks last summer and didn't get engaged. Okay, sure.
Why? I didn't.
But I can't. I
Just
texted her,
show
I'm
up
like,
one day,
Gabby,
hey,
I'm
we're
like,
married.
I'm like, Gabby, please help me. Please help me. And she's like, I have no idea what to get him. I have no help. And this is the second or third year in a row that I have to think, because his birthday's coming up in April, right?
Yeah. I'm not getting you guys anything for your birthdays.
He's mad that you know that.
Yeah, he's upset that I even brought it up.
Yeah, but I don't know
That's why I brought
you're-
it up.
I don't know why you're getting me a present when I'm not getting you a present.
Because you don't have kids yet.
Okay.
When you have kids, I will switch to your children. If you have kids.
Fair.
Because of his gift giving, I have no doubt Jesse will be an amazing father in like 3 months, I'm sure.
He'll just show up to the show with a baby and we'll be like, bro, why didn't you tell us? He's like, well, you didn't ask.
Yeah, he just hasn't told us. But you're going to be for as good of a dad as you're going to be a legendary uncle.
Oh.
Unbelievable uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Fantastic.
Jesse came into the house yesterday because the studio's at the house. And was it yesterday? Saturday.
Friday.
Friday. And Everly was here. It's Friday night.
Sold.
That's what it was. And Everly was like, Uncle Jesse! And then just hands up and ran to him.
Oh, yeah.
Loves
Give her a
him.
big hug.
Loves him. I have to tell you, I find out more about you from your sister Michelle via Instagram DM than I find out about you directly. I'm like, hey, Michelle, can you tell me this about Jesse? She's like, yeah, no problem. Blah, 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 blah. And then I find out stuff.
Speaking of Everly, she's really good. Her imagination is like 10 out of 10.
She's a good liar.
When you,
real big stories.
When she's playing with her dolls, there's a whole world that's being made.
Oh, yeah.
And you ask her about it, and there's like 80 different things going on.
Oh, yeah.
Like the neighbors have a story, and they're doing stuff that day, and then the dog comes in from Paw Patrol,
Complex
and he's
emotion.
talking. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love just listening to her ramble.
You know what? So we've got this little toy room,
She
playroom.
gets it from her daddy.
Sort of set up. Yeah, big imagination. Tall tales though with Everly. You can't take. So I actually, it's funny. She was saying she would tell these stories, and I was like, man, that sounds dark. And so I talked to my therapist about it, and I was like, listen, Joe, I know I sound like a overly concerned parent here, but I gotta ask. I'm hearing this from Everly. I'm hearing that from Everly. I'm hearing this, and I'm like, I'm a little concerned. And Joe said, listen, you have to understand that as a 3.5, almost 4-year-old, she 90% of her world right now is fantasy. It's all made up. So whatever she's telling you, you can't really, did that kid at school bite her? We don't know. We'll never know. But because I'm like, because that was actually one of the stories. I'm like, do I talk to the school about this, or did she get bitten and they didn't tell me? Because they normally would file an incident report.
No, with Leo, it's at daycare. There's a kid who will call Tommy. Tommy cried every day, and so finally we asked someone at the daycare. We're like, is there a kid who's like crying every day? Like, what's up with the? It's Leo saw him cry once.
Oh
yes, one time,
totally
and now it happens every time according to him.
No, yeah. Like the clip that I played a few podcasts ago where he told a story about his grandfather being sad that he didn't get macaroni. I'm just imagining my father-in-law just weeping on his knees in his like 50s, like upset that he didn't get macaroni.
Adam, you told that therapist story like 2 episodes ago.
Sorry about that. I'm sleep deprived most days. I wake up at 4:30.
I think that was on the show, right?
Stop
because that was macaroni.
Well, if I did that. So, but the other thing is the watching them play on their own is very cool. Because first off, then you don't have to play pretend all the time. Because sometimes you get tired of acting, right? You're like, I don't want to be a puppy today. Okay, I don't want to be a puppy right now. Okay, you're a puppy. Okay, but I've been a puppy for the last 6 hours.
Yeah, I'm really trying to encourage Leo to play games where I don't have to stand.
That's a good one. Yeah. I like that. So yeah, Jesse's absolutely right about that. Hey, now, so I wanted to ask you about something because, so I want you to, if you're listening to this, or you're watching this, Steve and Jesse walk in the house today, and Jesse's like, "Oh, you want to talk about that Friday night thing?" And I'm like, "What happened?" And he's like, "No, save it." And I'm like, "Okay, I want to hear this fresh." Jesse wants me to hear this fresh. What happened on Friday? Now I'm assuming because the two of you play hockey on Friday nights, it happened there.
Do you want me to explain, or
Go
should
ahead.
you?
I just put it at the end. Give me my Rookie of the Year trophy.
Okay.
Oh,
so it's the Burnsy. It's the Burnsy Cup. So basically, the thing that we do every Friday night, it's like half drills and then half scrimmage, and like people were even making comments to me like a few weeks ago. They're like, "Man, you and Jesse don't give each other an inch, do you?" Like, so everyone's out there like just skating, trying to have a good time, trying to stay in shape. Jesse are out there trying to kill each other.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And just a little bit of, dirty pool, a little bit of cross-checking to the ribs. I noticed there, Jesse. Yeah. And all he said to me last week when he found out about this is, I hope we're on different teams.
He did say that.
Oh, wow.
Because we don't know, like going to the final week is the tournament, and then our coach, John Burns, he splits up the teams and he ranks everybody based on like skill, so we get even teams. And yeah, I told you that.
Yeah, and as soon as he said that, I was like, fucking I hope so too. And unfortunately, Jesse's team kicked my team's ass.
Oh wow.
We lost 8-3. So there's the bad group, which Jesse and I are a part of, and the good group. Our good group and your good group, I think we're like tied. The bad group was Jesse's group was up significantly on us.
The bench mob.
The bench mob.
Yeah, the second line. We shut
depth.
you guys out.
Good depth.
Yeah, I don't think we scored a goal. And
Don't say you don't think. I know.
and it was in no small part due to Jesse, who scored 2 goals.
Hey!
I almost had the hat trick.
Wow,
I had
Jesse.
2 goals.
I shadowed this guy like shit on Velcro when he had 2.
Wow.
I was like, there's no way he's
not gonna
getting
let
a
him have
third.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
No,
not.
the defense started to clamp down when they saw me running out there like McDavid.
I didn't give a shit if anyone else scored. As soon as he got his second, I was like, fuck you. You're not getting a third.
Man. Wow.
I don't know. That was my first year playing in your little scrimmage thing.
Like, where did that
I
come
want the
from?
trophy. I
Like,
want my rookie of the year
that's-
trophy.
you ask.
No,
Remember
I
I told you
know.
about trampoline dodgeball.
Yeah.
He shows up for the first time ever and is the best player on any mat I've ever seen ever. Caught every ball, nailed people in the face. It was incredible.
Trampoline dodgeball is a little different. Everybody could pick that up.
Yeah.
Everybody just pick it up and be 6 foot whatever you are.
Yeah.
And also avoid every ball.
Yeah, you're supposed to be
You are
hittable.
unbelievable. Unbelievable athlete.
I'm more proud of this one.
Oh, you should be.
2 goals
earned
in the
this.
Burnsy Cup. Yeah.
Because, like,
That's when it counts, too.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for several years, and like I'm finally at a stage where people are like, "Hey, you're way better than when you started." That's Jesse after one session, like
in
one
the,
season.
in the middle
this.
of it, I had to take 2 months off because I sprained my ankle.
and you came back.
You're such an
better.
asshole.
Like what the?
Look at this fucking guy.
That's not allowed. Get lost. Why?
This is supposed to be a show for the unathletic, Jesse.
Yeah.
The best part about it was shutting out your line. I think it would have been 4-0 because I scored 2 goals and then the other guy scored.
I missed a
No,
game
I think we had 5. I think it was 5-0 our line
all
won
right.
against you guys.
All right.
And now because once we got up and it was 7-3 or whatever, I knew we were gonna win. I was like, okay, we just need to shut him out, play great defense for the last like 10 minutes of this game, and I'm gonna go home happy. And we did it, and it was fucking awesome.
Man.
And I was not good. There was a 2-on-1, and I stopped the pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fuck yeah, I broke it up. But all I did was, because I overskated the puck after I broke it up, and so I just left the puck behind for the guy who it was going to anyway, who then scored. I was very upset.
Yeah, Steve, you had a couple bad
A couple
passes
bad
there.
plays. And
Yeah.
Jesse was just like Tucker on the Leafs power play, just sit right on the goal mouth and fucking, you didn't miss a thing.
No,
Drove me nuts.
What kind of goals did you get? Were they
2
like
one-timers from the side of the net.
one-timers?
Yeah.
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 What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a slap shot?
No, I can slap a puck that's coming at me.
No,
I just redirect it to the back of the net.
There were too many slap shots. I will say that. It's like calm the fuck down.
Man, I remember one of the Eric Lindros tournaments, like for Easter Seals, and
It's a penalty shot.
Steve gets so intense about certain things. And you never know what it's going to be. But remember, for those of you who've been around long enough, they broke my phone thing where Apple updates your phone until it doesn't work anymore. Right? That's the controlled obsolescence, I believe it's called. Anyway,
when the new iOS comes out, all the phones suddenly are a little slower.
why are they so slow? And Steve was like, no, they broke my phone. This was a whole old rant. I remember being at a tournament for Easter Seals pre-pandemic, and some guy made one of our defensemen look stupid. And I hear Steve just like beside me go, motherfucker. And I was like, what? And he's like, toe dragging in a fucking charity tournament. What a fucking asshole.
I almost got into a fight at a charity hockey tournament over that. No, because we had like a 16-year-old net with like garbage equipment on, and some like dude who is like much older, like at least twice this kid's age, is cranking slap shots with the orange ball.
Oh,
like,
that hurts like hell.
At this kid's exposed flesh. So I started, we weren't on the same shift, so I kept calling him contract year.
Oh.
And he didn't like that, and he came right over to the bench. And he's like, if you keep going, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. But it was great because our team had this dude who worked for the Leafs, I think still does, who's like 6'7". And he comes over with like,
No, you won't.
stick in the chest, and he's like, yeah, fuck off. And it was at that moment, I'm like, all right, I understand the enforcers thing.
Right? You do
like-
play a little bit bigger.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm, the last doctor's appointment said 5'10", 5'11", but I think I'm 6'3" today.
yeah, yep. So
Still 2 inches shorter than Jesse.
I do have to apologize to you because I ran into you in the behind the net
That
on
was an accident.
one play in the offensive zone. I almost cross-checked Steven right in the ribs.
Yeah. Oh.
I think I got you in
A little
a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Did you two-hand him back like Tavares?
I should have. I should have. He did nothing wrong, by the way.
What, Vinny Desharnais?
Yeah. No, Tavares. He did nothing wrong. I saw a lot of Oilers fans in my mentions pre-arguing with me, but what they were actually doing was post-arguing with me because I had already, in 2 different places, said Tavares should be fined.
Right.
And then he was.
You got to be. I mean, I can't fault Oilers fans for not knowing this, but you got to be You got to get under Tavares' skin to get him to react ever for anything.
I
To get him to do
I've
something like
seen him
that.
do that.
Never seen him do that ever.
But you can't do that.
No, you can't. But I do think it's funny that like that is equivalent. Like again, you got to remember that Brad Marchand licked a guy and got nothing.
Twice.
I still there's a dissonance there that I can't rectify. But let's talk about
3 games.
Let's talk about the Oilers and let's talk about the Leafs. And one of the things going into this game that I read that I really liked was Cam Chychrun, who obviously was a part of the Leafs Brain Trust for 7 or 8 years. Yeah. He's tweeting now, and it's interesting to hear his perspective on things because you get sort of a glimpse into how part of that management group thinks and thought for the last 8 years, and they've been very successful, at least in the regular season, right?
Sure.
And he said
better than they were before he got there.
Certainly, sure as hell. And I'm not trying to take away from it. It's the playoffs are the playoffs, but one of the things he said was this is a game that he said it's a bummer that the Leafs and Oilers don't play more because this is a game that both teams get up for. Yeah, and I think especially now, like Leafs fans, the Leafs were better before the Oilers were better. They were both bad at the same time, but McDavid was amazing, but the rest of the team was dog shit for a long, long time. Draisaitl and whatever. You had some of the pieces there that are still there, but they didn't have, the Hymans and the Evander Kanes and Matthias
and it hasn't been linear either because they had the one run where it's like, oh fuck, the Oilers have arrived
against San Jose, right?
And then it just went away.
Yeah. So I mean, they thought they had their goaltending sorted out, and then Cam Talbot was bad the next year, and you remember all that? Like it was. So
he was overused.
Well, regardless of what it was. And hitching your wagon to 41-year-old Mike Smith, also a thing. But I think it's one of those things where you do wish the Oilers and Leafs played more because they are Canada's 2 top teams right now. And because, frankly, they're always a good game. It's always an entertaining game.
I think, so we look back at the Canadian division and we say, oh, that was too much. I mean, 9-10 games, yeah, it's probably too much. But I think a big factor that added to that is no one was in the building.
Yeah.
If fans were in the building for all those games, I think we probably look at it differently.
I think that's a really good point. Yeah. And I have always wondered too, like why the NHL doesn't introduce regional cups with like, how other like soccer leagues have, they got in England, they've got their own cup and then they've got the FA Cup and the Euro Cup and whatever. I always felt like there should be like, or what do they have in MLS? Like the Supporter Shield and some other stuff as well. And I think it would be kind of neat if there was like an intra-Canadian sort of tournament happening while the NHL is happening. And you just use the NHL game results to determine who takes that championship home. But multiple championships, as much as they don't matter as much as the Stanley Cup does, it would still be kind of fun.
It'd be cool.
It'd be kind of fun to have some bragging rights. That's all it is.
It's just not part of the culture.
Why? I think it's not a part of the culture because we haven't made it a part of the culture.
No,
what is culture until you create
it? It would be... I think it's easier to do in something like soccer because it's part of soccer culture. But to just add it to hockey...
Well, listen, we've added and subtracted rules the whole time. It's right. Yeah.
Or
I think you could absolutely do that.
It's maybe just North American hockey because they have it in Europe.
Before we do that, I'd rather do international stuff. I'd rather the World Cup be implemented before we get the Leafs.
I so agree with you, Jesse. It's just we're dealing with the NHL here.
Right. Yeah. Sure. But if they're trying to put on their own World Cup, fucking commit to that and put it on every 2 years.
Agreed. I agree completely.
Instead of trying to figure out like Canada Cup or whatever.
So the Leafs and Oilers obviously was a great game all the way around. And I think the one thing that Leafs and Oilers fans can agree on from Saturday night is that the officiating was atrocious.
Mm-hmm. Dude, there were 4 incidences of coincidentals.
So tell me why that's important. Because I think it's important that people understand what you mean by that.
Well, we often criticize hockey or the officiating in hockey for game management. There was a viral clip that went around of an umpire ringing up a batter on 2 ridiculous pitches. there was a ball thrown that was not a ball, or sorry, a ball thrown
Called
that
strike.
he called a strike. It was not even close to a strike. The batter reacted poorly. I thought the batter would have been, any reasonable fan would be like, yeah, it's a bad call by the ump, but you should probably kick the batter out for that. Didn't do that, and instead rung him up on an even worse pitch. And it not only awarded a strikeout, but it ended the game. It ended the entire game. So that's not, and you can look at that and go, that's the ump being a baby. That's the ump holding a vendetta. That's match fixing is what that is. It's match fixing. The ump rigged the game to end it early. Now, I'm pretty sure that ump has been suspended.
He has been suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to show that?
Yeah, I'm showing some of the footage.
It's
right
terrible. And and the batter is totally showing up the ump, jumping, he's pointing. But look at this pitch. Look at this pitch. It's nowhere fucking close.
now. Yeah. So we'll go. That's the first one again. It was probably a little low, but the batter can't be doing that.
Well, and it's also, by the way, it's the last out of the game. Of course, the batter's a little bit on edge.
Right.
Yeah.
We talk about how he reacts to it. How do you expect him to react? It's an emotional end.
Yeah. And it's Div 1. Like, it's not pro.
He's trying to make it, though.
Yeah. He's trying to make it.
As
but
they all are.
Like, it's a student acting like a student. You know what I mean?
He's a child.
Yeah. Well, I mean, probably early 20s. But anyway, it's match fixing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hockey's problem is not necessarily that. It's not a ref with a vendetta against a team, but it's a ref game management is hockey's problem. And I think the worst one from this game, actually there's a couple, and I got to give it to Oilers fans for being frustrated about this game. But there were a couple incidences where one should have been an Oilers power play outright, and another should have been a Leafs power play outright. And they didn't end that way. Matthews' hit on McDavid was garbage.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that.
Can't do that.
And that should have been it. Should have been called.
If you call that penalty, it's a penalty.
Yeah, Oilers power play. But then McDavid with the slash. And you can't do that either.
Mm-hmm.
But the slash is born from the shitty hits. Then later in the game, Desharnais, here, I know you can't show this footage, Jesse, but can you pull up the clip?
The Tavares one?
Yeah, I just saw it on the screen.
Yeah,
just so I
go
can
back up.
count the things that happen. All right, they're battling. That's not a cross check. That is,
I'll go to the
that's a
beginning.
trip.
Go to the beginning.
Yeah,
Here you
okay,
go.
so we're going to the beginning.
Tavares going to the
That's
net like he
okay.
does.
That's okay. That's close. That's a cross check. That's a trip. That's a trip.
Okay.
That's a hook holding the stick. And then
then
Tavares
slash.
comes down on Desharnais' wrist with the force of 1,000 suns. Now, Desharnais' wrist is already messed up, obviously, by the brace. I didn't know that. That's also Tavares taking a two-hand chop on a 6'6", 215-pound guy. But if you have the audio of this clip, they don't call either penalty until the slash.
And then they call both.
Do your fucking job, and Tavares doesn't have to do that.
Do your job, and McDavid doesn't have to do that to Matthews.
Exactly. So, Oilers fans, what I would say is, if the game is just called, because based on the whistle, the only guy who should be getting called is John.
Yes.
Based on the whistle, the only guy who should be getting called is Tavares. But they send them both off because the ref was like, all right, I'm letting it go.
The key thing in that is that Edmonton had possession of the puck. So if Desharnais had a penalty there, it should have been called initially.
Yes.
Because you just blow the whistle because they have the puck. They have possession. So there it is.
So, if someone was doing that to an Oiler, let's say it's an Oilers Flames game, and someone was doing that to an Oiler, and the ref is not calling that on the Flames player, what would you expect the Oilers to do?
They'd have to retaliate.
What would you expect?
Have to take it in your own hands.
Draisaitl or Hyman or McDavid or anyone battling in front, they got to take it in their own hands, or wrists even. This is, the Leafs have been dealing with this for years. The Oilers, McDavid adapted his game to be Captain Elbow because no one was calling anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not doing it quite as much anymore, but that slash on Matthews is again born from a huge issue that McDavid's been dealing with his whole career, where he's left out hanging out there to dry from the officials. Well, how many penalties do you want to see in a game? As many as there need to be called.
I think what would happen is players would just adjust.
Yeah.
The whole narrative about, we'd have so many penalties, it would actually go away. People would just simply stop.
But I bring this up all the time. In 2005, 2006, there was a crazy amount of penalties. A way too many amount of penalties because they changed up the rules. And the NHL went, that was way too many penalties. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll it back. What? No! There were too many penalties because you changed the rules and they're adapting. And then they had this weird like Franken rule book where they have all these new rules and simply a staff of officials who call them when they feel like it. It doesn't make any sense. The Bunting Kane thing, there was the one where it was interference on Bunting and Bunting got called for embellishment. And when I saw that, I'm like, Michael Bunting may never get a call for the rest of his life. And then he got the high stick from Nurse. But the Bunting Kane thing, you could have called a penalty 20 seconds before you sent both of them off.
Yeah.
I compared it to, remember the game Ice Hockey? It's like the first ever hockey game for the original Nintendo. There's the fat guy, the middle guy, and the skinny guy. Yeah. And the way you get into a fight is when you connect with a player, you sort of like slap fight, but you keep skating. And you can just go up the ice slap fighting before you actually get into a fight. That's what that was! They looked just like that! It was two, like, medium guys just slap fighting at each other. And then, like, 20 seconds later, all right, you two, settled it. Do your fucking job!
Well,
and they'll adapt.
I want to give Chris Cuthbert and Craig Simpson a big shout out because they mentioned one of these plays. Now, it was either the McDavid Matthews or the Desharnais Tavares. I can't remember which, but they said, this is what happens when you game manage versus referee.
Yeah, and probably Desharnais Tavares.
Whichever it was. And you have to understand something. The broadcasters are not allowed to denigrate referees. You might not know this, but the NHL, as you might think, does not like it when you speak ill of the game, which is why they were so pissed off about that Stephen A. Smith clip last week. And allegedly, and I say that because I don't want to get sued, allegedly, they'll phone the head of whatever company they've partnered with, and they'll say, hey, your broadcaster said this. You make sure to give them shit. So whenever you hear a broadcaster actually call out the refereeing in an NHL game, understand that they're going to get an earful within the next couple of days. The NHL does not like it, does not appreciate it, and will not accept it. And so I thought it was awesome that they actually made that comment. And Steve, I know you obviously didn't hear it because you were on the stream, but right. I think it's one of those things where it is abundantly clear that the NHL's got a game management versus refereeing problem, and they just can't seem to commit to either. Like, really, if you really wanted game management, so don't call them referees. Call them game managers.
Jesse was showing a clip on the screen of Bunting and Kane fighting the entire way up the ice.
Slap fighting.
Yeah, and the hilarious thing about that clip is there wasn't a penalty called in the entire clip. It's not until they're in front of the net. Like, there isn't even footage of the full incident. Because it went on for so long.
Yeah, and apparently there were some words said between those two or something. Bunting.
Oh, Kane called him a diver, and we're trying to take that out of the game, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
But with the game management thing, it's so funny how we had this conversation on Friday, and then it felt like the refs listened to us, and we're like, you want to see something game managed? We're going to show you on Saturday night.
4 coincidental minors. Oh yeah, that's what people tune in for.
Because it was the premier case of the referees getting in the way of the game.
Yes.
If you call just the penalties, all of this is taken care of. But instead, they try and manage it, and they try and do the players. Hey, you can't be doing this, but we're going to let this go, and the players can solve it, and we're going to do all that. And it ruined portions of the game.
We're on the same side here, actually. Leafs fans and Oilers.
That's
fans.
what I said. That's how we started the segment.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not just pertaining to this game. So you look at how ridiculous McDavid's stats are. They should be so much more ridiculous. But they only call a certain amount of penalties because they don't want it to get out of hand. Like there's a reason you see almost every team has an even amount of power plays, right? Like this game had the Leafs with 2 more power plays than the Oilers. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like 2 is an enormous advantage, and it's rare.
Adam was talking about the broadcasters when it was 4-1 in penalties, because it was at one point they said the next one's probably on the Leafs because that's what's probably going to come. And
you
then,
shouldn't be able to predict that.
And then right on cue, there was the slide, which was a penalty, but they're calling that 100% of the times because the Edmonton Oilers are down on power plays and we need to get them back up to where the Leafs are. And it's ridiculous.
And what really opened my eyes to this, because there was the theory of it, and then I got to watch it in practice, was the Oilers Flame series from last year. Because there was the Oilers Jet series where McDavid didn't draw a single penalty despite getting like German suplexed by like Dylan DeMello and all those guys. He had gone 8 straight playoff games without drawing a penalty. And then I'm watching him like a hawk because he's McDavid and he has the puck a lot and I'm streaming the thing. But also I want to see playoff McDavid and how the rule book is called in real time. And there was a game where he drew 2 penalties, which is a really, really good game in that regard. Mm-hmm. He should have drawn 5. Like at least 5 or 6, honestly. And if you're Calgary, figure it the fuck out. Either you're going to take a penalty because you're doing something against the rules, or you adjust. And if you can't adjust in a way that stops McDavid, you lose to McDavid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, then you didn't adjust to the rules, and that's the rules of the game, so you lost the game. And I don't want to hear the argument about, if you call all the penalties, then the game's just power play. Then the game's played at 5-on-4.
Maybe for the first couple weeks.
Yeah,
and then
they'll
teams
figure it out. They won't keep taking penalties if you just call all the penalties.
I saw a clip today, and it's a basketball clip that sort of applies to this conversation. It's of Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boy Pistons. And it's, they said players from the 80s weren't as skilled as players today, and it's Isaiah Thomas doing all sorts of crazy things. No, it's not that the players from the 80s weren't as skilled as the players today. It's that people would just beat the shit out of each other on a hardwood floor.
Yeah.
His teammates, namely.
Well, it's also, when people say that, that's like saying somebody from the 1920s is not as good as somebody today. It's because the game evolved.
Well, and they had
it's because there's YouTube.
50
because people are training better. Yeah.
And leather skates.
And fucking pads full of fucking feathers, man.
The goalies didn't wear helmets and were just saving pucks with their noses.
Yeah.
Like, what
how did half a century of hockey go by before someone was like, I have an idea?
Pads that quick dry. Crazy. What thought?
Well, and also masks.
Put something in front of your face.
No.
So you're not blocking a puck with your eyeball.
No, because you wouldn't want to come across as less than a man. It's toxic masculinity, I
and
think.
Goalies just weren't allowed to wear them.
And when Jacques Plante finally did, the reaction in English Canada was, he's a soft Frenchman.
Yeah. Take vulcanized rubber to the face like a man.
He wants to keep the bones in his face.
Yeah, no. Our generation before you fought a world war. How dare you put a mask on that face?
Yeah. Now, he also couldn't pass the puck forward for a little bit.
that was way earlier. But yes.
But compare eras, you know?
So sorry, I'll finish making the point that I started to and forgot about. McDavid should have more points than he does.
Yes.
Because he should be allowed to do more. And look at the Leafs this season. Look at Matthews' season. He's having such a down season from last year. Yeah, because he's beat to fuck. Mm-hmm. His body's racked from the bullshit that he goes through that goes uncalled. He's beat to fucking hell.
Well, and
he leads the league in block shots.
And here's the thing. You talk to the guys, like if we had Ken Reed on, he'd tell you about how the 80s were better and how the hockey was more exciting. And when you watch it, you go, wow, it sounds pretty freaking exciting. Yeah. What the NHL did back then was they made a choice. Are we going to call everything or are we going to let the players sort it out? Back then, they let the players sort it out. Now, that has led to certain lawsuits and things like that because it was very unsafe. But at the end of the day, the players were allowed to do, legal murder, right? As it was called, about legal murder. And I think now what the NHL has done that's unfortunate is that they've tried to sort of ride the line between calling the penalties and not. You have to shit or get off the pot. You either have to call the penalties or call nothing. And you can't be halfway on this stuff.
How about Franken rules where Desharnais can get away with whatever he wants? And now I'm John Tavares and I'm forced with, okay, So shoving him's not going to do anything. I'm not going to be able to beat him in a fight. He's fucking huge. So I think I'm just going to slash his wrist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that specific incident, I'd love to just ask the referee, okay, so if what he did was a penalty because you gave him a penalty on it, why didn't you call the penalty before the slashing?
And great thing is you can't.
We've seen...
Simply can't ask the ref.
Then you're just lying.
Can't ask the ref, though.
That's been a big problem this season in particular. I've noticed, like, just from, anyway, the Leaf games that I've watched. It's like, well, no, wait, if you're calling both, then why was the play allowed to continue?
Oh, so you're only calling both because both occurred, but if one occurred, that's not a penalty. But then why can you call now both if it wasn't a penalty?
You can't call
and you just talk in a circle.
Yeah.
And I just need an answer.
Well, like, you know how we keep talking about the 2-minute report with the NBA and how the NHL would be nice to have an equivalent? It'd be nice to have a report at the end of the game, like, hey, the Oilers had the puck here. The player was called up for a penalty. Why?
But you guys, as I told you last episode, that's not going to make things better. It has to be a change when it happens on the ice, because all you're going to get is some bullshit response that says nothing, and it's just going to make you mad.
But this is the adjustment. Right? So we talked about how the players weren't allowed to make an adjustment because they just changed the rules back because it was too hard. And now for officials, the adjustment will be, hey, if you keep fucking up, if you keep doing this ridiculous bullshit, it's going to go in a report and people are going to know about it and it's going to be embarrassing for you.
Well, that's specifically why the NHL will never do it.
Well,
they won't even let the broadcasters criticize the officials.
Enjoy the Franken rules, everyone.
I know. Well, and this is the thing. So, and I think fans en masse are frustrated. Yep. I think every team has the right to be frustrated at the moment. And to say that the referees don't act like a bit of a gang. Look at what happened Look at what happened to Calgary after Weidman hit that official, which was the wrong thing to do. Who was the most penalized team the next year magically?
That
by
year,
a mile.
For the remainder of that year is the Calgary Flames. It's a huge outlier too. If you go and look, like they're usually like middle of the pack or like pretty good. This is worst by a million miles. Yeah.
So let's move on to the actual game, though, because the game was good. Yes, Jess.
Worst rule of all time, outlawing the two-line pass. What the hell was that? Why did they do that?
You don't want the two-line pass back. You don't want that two-line pass rule.
Why did they implement the two-line pass?
I don't know.
That's the worst rule of all time. Why couldn't you pass it over the blue line, the red line?
Dude.
Why was that ever a rule?
It was agony.
It was a terrible rule.
What the hell? Who thought, like, hey, this is good for hockey. Can't pass it through the middle of the ice.
There are some younger people listening to the show right now not knowing the rule you're talking about. Good.
YouTube. There are two-line pass like mega cuts of people just getting frustrated. It's a terrible rule.
It's a fucking such a stupid.
And I remember when they took it out, they're like, guys are just gonna cherry pick along the blue line. No,
that's not how
they're not
played.
Anyway, so listen,
you have the same amount of guys. Follow them.
Yeah, the Leafs and Oilers had a really, beyond all that controversy, and I think, sometimes you have to kind of get that off your chest. It was a great game. And you know what? You saw the good and bad from both teams. Yes. It was a baseball score, right? Yeah. You see the Leafs. Noel Acciari opens the scoring, and I want to get back to him, but at some point, because he is unbelievable.
Protect him at all costs.
In the first period, and then you've got Matthias Ekholm, who I just wish they'd been able to swing. What a goal!
What a fucking piss missile!
Laser beam. Yeah. Evander Kane scores, which because Evander Kane, no matter what team he plays against, he's going to get under their skin. That's what he's really good at. And here's the thing: he backs it up with insane talent.
That goal had no business being a goal in 2023.
Well, and we'll have to talk about the Matt Murray situation. McDavid in the second period, but here's the thing. The Oilers dominate the first, the Leafs turn the tables in the second and third, and, at that point, it's not even really, unfortunately for the Edmonton Oilers, 5 unanswered goals.
Are they going to learn to play defense in the next 2 months before the playoffs?
I don't think they've got the skill. If you look at the players who were the worst for each team on Saturday night, it was Matt Murray for the Leafs, bar none. He was horrendous. And it was Darnell Nurse for the Oilers.
He's really struggling.
No lateral movement. None. Yeah. He does not shift. And I want to start with Matt Murray, though. When you are playing the Edmonton Oilers on Saturday night, and you let the Ekholm goal, I'll let go. even though he was down too early. He was down way too early.
I didn't like it at the time, but like that's just a perfectly placed slap shot.
Evander Kane's wraparound, though.
Can't go in.
You don't know where your posts are.
Yeah, dude, it's a problem. And Sammy, when Sammy's fighting it, he doesn't know where his posts are either. He's gotten better the last few games. But yeah, Murray's like a mile out of the net and incredibly slow getting back into position. And then it was, and then I guess, and then the McDavid goal, which was his 55th, by the way. Yeah.
Right through the 5 hole.
So I didn't like that goal that much either, but I'm like, it's McDavid. And then I saw a Matt Murray quote about it this morning. He goes, actually, I was anticipating him going 5 hole because I noticed he scored a lot of 5 hole goals this year. It's just he's so fucking fast.
Well, there you go.
So
there you go.
He wasn't able to stop it, and then I don't remember the fourth was Draisaitl in the Draisaitl spot.
Yeah, and he's just he's amazing.
Like slapping with a paddle, unbelievable.
Like, is this just one of those situations where a 4 spot from the Oilers is something you take? Like you're just like, it's the Oilers.
They are the Oilers. But you know what? No, I think this is the kind of game that loses you the starter job for round 1. If there was any question left about who the Maple Leaf starter is, don't question it anymore. It's Samsonov. No question. You can't.
Kane doesn't even wrap it around properly. It's like it trickles in off the post.
No, it goes off of Murray's pad. Steve.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is like he was so like
he didn't tuck it. Yeah,
he was so fucking slow.
And this is what I'm saying. Matt Murray, when he's on, is very good still. Very, very good when his body holds up.
He made a wild save in this game too.
He did. And I don't want to take any of that away from him. But if you cannot come out in the first period of a Saturday night game against the Edmonton Oilers, where Connor McDavid grew up just down the street, if you can't wake up for that, you cannot be game 1 starter versus Tampa. You can't. You can't. And this is supposed to be...
That's a Matt Murray game.
Absolutely.
Like where he's generally solid, gives up at least one you can't forgive.
Had a great couple saves too.
And makes a great couple saves. Like he is a backup. Like I think he's a perfectly fine NHL backup.
If the money was a little bit lower, I would agree with you.
As soon as that thing expires, I think he can get right back to having a fine NHL career because the contract value really does screw with guys.
Yeah.
There have been a number of guys who have been like severely overpaid and people are like, oh, they suck. No, they're just overpaid. They're still fine.
Matt Murray doesn't suck.
No, Matt Murray's fine. But 4.5 is way too much.
Well, and even if you let in 4 against the Oilers, it's how they go in. Because it's the Oilers. The Oilers are unbelievable on offense. We know this. But that wraparound is like, that kills most teams. That kills your momentum. Thankfully, the Leafs are built like the Oilers.
When McDavid scored that third goal, I'm like, well, this one might be tough. I said on the stream, I'm like, listen, it's the Oilers. No game is ever done going either way.
No.
And that ended up being the case. But that second goal went in. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Now,
that can't go in.
When you've got, when we talk about the second period, you got Mitch Marner stealing the puck. I've never seen hands on a Leaf player in tight like that. That was unreal. Like that goal is crazy.
He has the brain, like the instincts. And I just realized Jesse's going through the highlights by going through Tic Tac Tomar's feed. Fuck, I love him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just the best. You can tell the whole story of the game just by going through his feed.
Yeah.
But he's got the brain and the hands to back it up.
Yeah.
Well, and
he leads the NHL in takeaways, eh?
Yeah, I believe it.
Leads the NHL in takeaways. That's the Mark Stone special.
Yeah, I believe it. And they got 2 goals off of that. They come back and tie the game off both those goals. What the fuck is McLeod doing?
Well, and I'm sure
with the pass.
What is Nurse doing?
Oilers fans have been asking that about their defense for a while now. I don't know. That was
He's not a defender.
No,
he just happened to be back there.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's team defense, right?
Exactly. But Nurse as well. So he does the shit. McLeod does the shit pass to Nurse, and
when he could have bounced it off the backboard
easily. But Nurse he's cutting backwards. Sort of stops up because he's like, we're in trouble. And then mystifyingly makes the decision to keep going. Where are you going? There's a problem. Help with the problem.
Right.
It's a fascinating team. And some
Yeah,
people,
he just keeps going. He just watches.
God, that's a crazy move by Mitch too.
Yeah, and it went off. I thought when it went off the first post, I'm like, motherfucker, if he missed that.
Oh, no.
Like for a split second.
So the feed I watch on the back end of the streams like isn't as high def as what we're watching right now. So I thought Mitch scored immediately. So I was really confused with the delayed reaction, and I'm like, did he airmail it? Did it go into the stands? And then he puts his hands up. I'm like, hey!
It's one. I don't know if we should rank Mitch's all-time goals during the summer. Best Mitch Marner
I think we
goals or
should.
something like that. But
We need to.
I think this is cracking top 5.
Absolutely.
If we ever did that.
Easily.
That could be his best one.
Yeah,
Easily.
It's so good.
That breakaway goal on Reimer.
Yeah.
That is.
Breakaway goal on Mrazek.
But look at him. It's spins, half spin, like pulls it
God.
back towards himself. Unbelievable.
It's an all-star goalie. He did that. too.
Also, for the summer, Steve Dangle on the ice tries to recreate
Oh, you know what?
Oh.
That's how we got to do it. We got to have Steve Dangle recreates the best 5 goals of Mitch Marner's career.
Well, I hurt my shoulder on Friday by falling down
this.
on my own.
we don't have the rights. So the way we get around the rights is we
Steve.
have Steve
Yeah.
recreate all
Let's
the
do
moments
it.
we want to talk about.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, man, I love that.
All right, we'll get you on the ice.
We'll just recreate
You
a bunch
gotta
of
recreate Mitch Marner's top 5 goals.
All right, what does he do? Oh, he pivots? Oh, fuck, which way?
I can only pivot one way.
I can go right, but I can't go left.
Yeah.
I can pivot both ways. Just one way I can't do it with speed.
William Nylander also unbelievable game. Great vision.
Understated.
Understated. And his whole season's been understated. William Nylander's got 78 points.
Oh, yeah. He's really good. He's having a really good year. I think it's funny that we're talking about how shit Matthews is.
Well, he's got his 7th career 30-goal season, and he's played 7 years.
If he didn't get hurt, he'd probably end up with 40. And he might end up with 40 anyway. Like, yeah.
I could easily see Matthews ending up with 40.
Yeah.
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 And I think,
Great
looking,
shot from Willie.
Tavares got his 30th goal. The stars for the Leafs showed up. But one guy that is not a star who did show up, he kind of bookended the game score, is Noel Acciari. He got the first goal and he got the last goal, which was from center ice too. Is not easy to shoot that.
No.
I want to talk about what Noel Acciari has brought to the bottom 6 of this team.
Belligerence. Just a complete lack of fear. No, he'll go anyone. It's funny, like sometimes I'll watch him and certain shifts I'm like, oh, that guy's like 6'2", 220. And then other shifts I'm like, wait a second, that's just a normal man with just a Johnny Bravo ass chin.
He does have a good chin.
Right?
That chin could cut some glass.
Absolutely. No, he just brings
driving the net, getting the penalty call as well, which is a huge play for the Leafs.
He's exactly the sort of player they've lacked in the playoffs. And the fact that he's able to score as well, they've needed a guy who can do it who can do both. Like, I'm tired of getting these designated hitters or designated shutdown guys. Like, the Leafs do have several players who are really good at certain aspects of the game,
but only those.
They don't have the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, David Kampf has scored a couple goals recently. Generally speaking, he is a offensive black hole. And in terms of like creating, like he's decent creating shorthanded, but
David Kampf has a fantastic two-way game. In terms of that, he can play a lot of defense. The offense isn't really there, but the second end is great.
That's not two way.
That's a one-way game.
That's one way.
Yeah, but the other way is the second way.
Yeah, no, he has a great two-way game, east and west. Like he cannot generate going forward.
Right.
And then this Noel Acciari guy comes in. It's like, Jesus Christ, this guy's got the whole thing. And is he as good a shutdown guy as Kampf? I don't know. Probably
but he can play
not.
on Kampf's line, and Kampf could be the shutdown.
I wonder. Okay, so the big story today, because they do play today, is it looks like the Leafs may actually try this 11-7 thing long term. Like they may try to go 7D, 11 forwards. Ryan
Because
O'Reilly,
Justin Hall must dress.
Is Luke Shen back?
Not yet.
Not yet.
He did welcome that him and his wife did have the baby. She had the baby on Saturday night, I believe. Friday night.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I think it was Friday night.
He's not back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're doing this thing. So O'Reilly's going to come back. which means a forward is going to get forced out of the lineup.
Mhm.
I imagine it's going to be Aston Reese. And then you'll have a fourth line of probably Lafferty. You'll have three centers. You'll have Camp, Achari, Lafferty. That's really not a bad situation to be in. That's a pretty good fourth line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I'm into it. I do think that they could look at maybe not playing 7 defensemen. I don't know if they need to do that, but if it works for them, whatever.
They don't need to do it, but I kind of look at this team and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not the worst thing for these guys. Like, because there are players who, like with Hall, we keep saying, okay, we know what he does well. We know what he doesn't do well. With Eric Gustafsson, we say we know what he does well. We know what he doesn't do well. With Morgan Riley on a much higher end, we know what he does well. We know what he doesn't do well. If they're able to play 7 guys, here's your
penalty killer specialist.
I mean, it seems obvious that the Leafs know who their top defensive defenseman is. It's TJ Brodie. If you go and look at the numbers from the Oilers game, he was the only defenseman to play over 20 minutes. The only guy, because they're spreading it out way more. Hall got his minutes by being a penalty killer. Otherwise, he, I think, would have been last or second last. Gustafsson got his time on the power play because that's where you give Gustafsson time. And if it weren't for the power play time, he would have been last or second last. Jake McCabe is being relied on more heavily in defensive
I want to come back to that too.
And they're keeping Riley away from those situations. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if I love it, but I'm willing to give it a shot because it's worked.
Well, and let me ask you this. When Zach Aston Reese is on the ice, what happens?
The Leafs, you know what? He gets it deep. And he was part of the game plan. The fourth line was part of the game plan against the Oilers because the Oilers cannot defend. And what the fourth line did a great job of doing, and Aston Reese was a big part of that, was getting the puck deep, getting into battles, crushing the Oilers against the boards, and just making their night not very good. I like Aston Reese in a playoff lineup just because of how playoff hockey is played. So I'm a little weary of scratching him come playoff time, but
maybe you're not playing a guy like Gustafsson come playoff time. I
think that's the guy.
I think it's the guy for sure. I mean,
but then you can do Shen Hall.
Sure.
As not as a pair, but as
7?
As 7.
I don't know if 7 works in the playoffs.
I can't remember a team doing it.
Well, it doesn't work until it does, right? Until you prove that it can.
I'm sure teams have done it in a pinch.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many teams have gone
I think the Lightning did a couple of years ago because there were some injuries or something like that.
That was during the regular season.
Oh, was it regular season? But I think when you're trying things out with 20 games to go, I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is try shit time. You got fucking, 18 games less than that? 15?
I want to say they're 3-0 recently, trying it.
Just keep trying different stuff, and Keefe will eventually figure it out. And
3-0 or 3-1.
I hope it stabilizes once they get to the playoffs. I think you should not probably do 7 defensemen. It sounds like a gimmick that you probably shouldn't be trying game 1 of the playoffs when that's
especially when you need a first round victory.
Yeah.
Well, okay, get it out of your fucking system now.
Sure.
Instead of experimenting in a winner take all game like they did against Columbus. That drove me out of my mind.
Willie's your new second line center. Hasn't played there all season long. We're going to do this in an elimination game.
Andreas Jansson's first game in 8 months.
No. Yeah.
Here,
so
Nick Robertson
take out Robertson to do it.
Yeah. I hope we get everything out of the system here, and all this try shit is done by game 1, and they figure out some sort of solid lineup.
It's funny. The Marlies writers were on this. Because the Leafs tried it and said, they need to do it because they're in this situation and blah, blah, blah. And all the Marlies writers were like, the Marlies are doing it too. How come the Marlies are doing it? The Marlies are, the Leafs organization is the Leafs organization top down. So you could look at the things the Marlies are doing, maybe even the Growlers, and you can see what the Leafs organization is tinkering with and trying.
Which is Bobby McMahon playing first line minutes. 17 goals in 17 AHL games.
The head coach, Sheldon Keefe, the GM, Kyle Dubas, winning championships.
Oh,
Yeah, there you
hey.
And the Growlers.
There you go.
But what do we know about the Memorial Cup?
It doesn't mean shit.
No, it's the Calder Cup.
Oh, Calder Cup. Excuse me.
The Calder Cup means nothing. My name is Sid Sixero, and the Calder Cup means nothing.
We should get him to shoot a promo for us. Be like, I'm Sid 6-0, and the Calder Cup means nothing.
I want a video from him.
Congratulations. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Just to wish a congratulations shout out.
Yeah, what's your team? The Bears? And where do you play? Hershey? Yeah, that's a place. Yeah, that's real. I'm from Cadbury.
So I want to talk about Jake McCabe for a second. What I noticed was that we love Jake McCabe. Holy shit, do we love Jake McCabe?
Yeah.
But what I loved so much was that with 2 minutes to go, Evander Kane, Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, all on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And with whoever they played on defense, Ekholm and whoever. Ekholm's so freaking good. It's outrageous. What a good ad. What a freaking good ad. They need one more.
Yeah.
One more good
I
defenseman.
agree.
Because when you see Connor McDavid, like, all right, set play, and Cody Cece's in there, like, yeah, I got this. It doesn't make sense to me. But I gotta say, seeing Jake McCabe out there, they're killing a penalty for 2 minutes, and then they're killing essentially a 6-on-5 for 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Jake McCabe was unbelievable, and I loved that Sheldon Keefe already trusts him to do that, because that would have been that's Justin Hall's son.
Yeah.
And Jake McCabe is out there. He's physical. You're not going to get in like you're not going to, when McDavid's poking at the net, Jake McCabe's pushing him back, and that was earlier in the game. That guy's physical. He moves the puck well. He plays great defense, has vision, and he's tough as nails. There's no question this team lacked some toughness previously, and they were trying to win a specific way.
When they were winning games with Mete Hollowell.
Oh, it was crazy.
Lacks.
And by the way, I mean, just before you get into the Mete Hollowell thing, I mean that they lacked toughness in previous seasons.
Yes. Not so much this year.
Right.
But they did definitely lack, like when they were winning games with Mete Hollowell, it's like, all right, it's really cool they're surviving this regular season. This shit is not going to fly when the playoffs come. And the Leafs are going to miss Jake Muzzin and what he brings. Mm-hmm. So how do you replace that? And they're replacing him long term. Mm-hmm. Like the acquisition of Jake McCabe, it's good for the playoffs. It's just a smart decision long term that they have this player locked up to $2 million this year and next year and the year after. But it's also a sign that, like, I don't think Muzzin's ever playing again.
No.
It's unfortunate, but it's the one part of the McCabe trade that we didn't really talk about. Like, oh, he's an immediate Muzzin replacement. He's a Muzzin down the line Muzzin replacement, unfortunately.
I believe their contracts might expire the same year. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
So he's
an unreal player, though.
He is, and I love the fact that Sheldon Keefe trusts him, because this has been, and any coach you'll see in the NHL has this. They got their favorites, they got their players they trust, despite what the evidence shows. Now, I think Leafs internal metrics really like Justin Hall, and they would have access to shit that we wouldn't even been able to fathom. Remember, the team analytics, what they have versus what we have visible to us are completely different. They don't do player cards.
He does some things good.
He does some good things good, but Jake McCabe is a game changer for them.
Yeah.
That is a reliable, great player. And you're not throwing a guy like Morgan Riley out in a situation like that, which is good because he's not good at that. He's good at other things.
They kept, I think he's an elite offensive guy. And they kept being like, hey, Morgan, tonight's game plan is you do everything. And it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. But when you've got Brody, Giordano, McCabe, you can rotate those guys in the last 3-4 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Liljegren too, if they decide to play him.
Yeah. Well,
and Liljegren to me is like, he's the best of Hall and Gustafsson because he does both.
To me, all of this, all the conversation that we're having about what this team does to the playoffs, it all hinges on, are they actually going to play Tim? Like, it seems like he's Morgan Riley's D partner. They play really well together. Let that be the thing. Don't take him out. Yeah, well, what do you... I don't care. The conversation starts with, Leave him in. Okay, how do we get Shen in? Whatever you decide, he stays. Knock it off. That's your best right-handed defender. Fuck off. Sorry, I'm sick of it.
Do you think that's just a head coach trying to challenge his player to elevate his game with 20 games to go? And of course he's going to get in.
Maybe,
but he still wants to fire him up.
As a Leaf fan, I have an enormous pile of evidence for why I should be worried.
And I think there can be something to be said for giving a player confidence by letting him know that he has this spot in the lineup. It's like if you have a job and you know, like, oh, I'm at this job, I'm a full-time employee, I'm not going to get fired or anything like that, as opposed to like you got a 2-week contract and you're not really sure about where your next paycheck's going to come from after that. There's some assurance in that you have that role and you can get comfy and you might perform better because you're relaxed and you can just dedicate your time to knowing, hey, I'm Timmy Lills and I know I'm in this lineup on this role.
Timmy Lills,
you know?
baby.
Like there's an assurance to that. And I don't know, sometimes I'd like to see Sheldon Keefe just give guys roles so they can get comfy in them.
You know what's kind of interesting? We talked about, like 8 defensemen deep. We didn't mention Connor Timmins once. And that dude's signed already for next year.
I've never understood the Connor Timmins hype.
I don't mind Connor Timmins.
I like him. I like him. I think he helps get you through the regular season for sure.
Gustafsson and Timmins in the same lineup, though. It's like two Spider-Men pointing at each other.
I don't understand why they have Gustafsson.
I think that was one half of a trade that fell through.
He played well.
Oh, I just don't think he was meant to be on this lineup. But they're going to try him.
Connor Timmins too. That's a player who's played like barely any hockey the last 2 years. And then he came over from Arizona, and then we were like, oh, we got a defenseman. No, he's still a work in progress.
He's a project.
Whip.
No, they sheltered him really well, and then they started putting him in defensive situations, and ooh boy, but they sheltered him really well, and he picked up a bunch of points, and
that's a contract, by the way, that you can bury with.
Yes, it's literally no money. It doesn't really matter. One thing about the Leafs defense that's very underrated. The Leafs are more of a shutdown team than we give them credit for. They're 100%. A top 3 defense in terms of just pure goals against. They're 3rd in the league. They're like kind of middle 12-ish, I think, in goals for. Their defense is kind of where they live. And this little stretch here of New Jersey, Edmonton, and Buffalo tonight, those are 3 of the top 4 goals for teams in the entire league.
Isn't that wild?
The 4th is Boston. So in this little stretch here, they're facing the top 3 goals for teams in the league. And so far, they're 2-0. Both situations, it was 3 goals for New Jersey and 4 for Edmonton. So they didn't play shutdown games, but they found a way for their offense to make up for the lack of defense in those games. And I'm very excited for tonight, going 3-0 versus top 3 of the top 4 goal offenses in the entire league. Mm-hmm. Pretty impressive thing for the Leafs to do in this little stretch where they're still thinking with their lineup, and they're not even at full strength with Ryan O'Reilly.
This show will probably be out around the time that the Leafs game kicks off.
Yeah.
I'm interested, Jesse, against Buffalo, to see how the Leafs handle their size. The one thing about Buffalo that nobody outside of Buffalo is talking about is, I know Tage Thompson's big, but so is everybody else. That is a big team.
Oh, yeah.
And they are fast. Tage Thompson is the new archetype NHL player. Humongous, great hands, and fast. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what people are going to be looking for. Scouts the next 5 years are going to be looking for the next Tage Thompson. I want to see how the Leafs defense, which doesn't have a gigantic tower of a man on it. They've got people who are strong.
Very few teams do.
Yeah, like you think about like Victor Hedman. Yeah. That's what comes to mind.
Victor Hedman's the outlier.
I think it is going to be fascinating to see how the Leafs manage and contain Buffalo when they're coming at full strength off the rush and they cross into the Leafs zone. That transition right there at the blue line to me is going to be fascinating.
Can't allow open shots.
No, you can't.
Can't allow open shots.
And you're going to have to keep them to the outside. And with a team like Buffalo, with how big they are and how they drive the net, I don't know how they're going to do that. So it'll be fascinating. They're going to have to do it.
And they have something to play for.
Oh, yeah. Buffalo?
Like the Leafs have home ice to play for, definitely. But like Buffalo's fighting for their lives right now. Yeah. Them and Florida and Ottawa and all of them. It's a dogfight. It's funny. The Eastern dogfight is a bunch of teams fighting to get into the playoffs. The Western playoff dogfight is teams like just refusing to take the spot. No, we just don't want to play this year.
The math on Ottawa and Buffalo is not good.
No.
Yeah, as hard as they've played to stay in the race, like Ottawa.
Look at their records.
Ottawa losing 2 in a row. Like it was, you can't do that at this time of the year. And
No.
they should have been playing a little bit better lately. And I don't know. I think they're out of it.
But like
Unless they go on a hotter.
Pittsburgh stepping up. Islanders lost their last game, but they've been really good. Florida's been really good. The Caps should be way more out of this than they are.
Yeah.
You're welcome. For Sandine. And Ottawa was making a mighty surge, but
They're
Are you
trailing
concerned,
off.
by the way, about the Sandine thing?
no, Justin Bourne made a great point. He's like, okay, they're playing Sandine a lot and he's producing well, but did you look at the rest of their decor? And I hadn't, and I looked at it and I just went, oh, fuck. It was not good at all. So he's playing a lot because he might be their best option at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Rasmus Sandin is a good player. But where was he going to play?
Exactly.
Where was he going to play? Like when they locked up Riley, when they got McCabe, they really like Giordano, obviously. Where was he going to play? Like third pair at highest. And I don't think he's a good third pair guy.
There are players that are not good on the lower end. They got to play in the high end.
He's a good
situation.
top 4 guy.
Yeah.
No, it's
Which
so
is
if the
great.
Caps play him there, he'll be great. But they tried to put him in different situations. We'll play you on the third player. We'll play on the right. Wasn't good.
With Bobby McMahon lighting things up the way he is. Now, if you've missed this, I did just say it, but Bobby McMahon, you did not hear me incorrectly. 17 goals in 17 AHL games.
That's pretty fucked.
I
I know Jesse's laughing because he doesn't think it matters.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, tell me about that. Why don't you think
It's
it matters?
the AHL. I think that's
But
very
it's a
simple.
low-scoring league.
It's really difficult to do what he's done. And he's done it, like there's been breaks in the streak because he's faced injuries.
And played with the Leafs, too.
Mm-hmm.
And played with the Leafs as well. Like, okay, 29 games, 21 goals, 8 assists is hilarious. And last year with the Marlies, he had 24 goals, 11 assists. So this dude, he's a finisher, right? So what situation do you put him
He's a
in?
center that shoots left. And where are they weak? Up in the top 6.
Well, he's listed as a center. I don't think he's going to play
okay,
center.
fine. But where do you put him in the top 6?
I would put him next to Tavares. If I were to put him
If Ryan
anywhere.
O'Reilly's injured, right? If he's not playing for the next month, why wouldn't you give him a shot there in the top
I
6?
think he 100% deserves a shot. But let's not act like they're acquiring Timo Meier to plug into the lineup.
No, it would be nice to have a dude just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Like, I'm not saying it
They've
wouldn't
never
be
had
awesome.
that. They've
if
never
it's
had
true. If this isn't true, I'm just saying.
Like their best come out of nowhere story is Pontus Holmberg.
Look, they have
Yeah.
they have a ridiculous amount of guys coming off the books this year, potentially.
Yeah.
So if they want to go younger and cheaper, actually, he wouldn't even be younger because I think he's
26.
Yeah, he's 26, but he is signed through next year at league minimum. So
Bobby McMahon deserves a shot because of what he's done. It's hard to do this in any league, regardless of what level of hockey you're playing. So, congratulations to him, but let's not act like, oh, that's a guaranteed star in the NHL.
I think he can come in and hopefully have a good year. Next year is going to be jump ball for months, because it's going to be training camp, it's going to be preseason, and then knowing what we know about the Leafs, they're willing to give you several months. They really liked Pontus Holmberg.
Oh yeah,
But at some point they made the decision, we need something better.
Yeah.
And now he's I don't know, unless there's an injury, he's probably not going to play.
I want to ask you about this, guys. How confident? This is the new segment. How confident are we that Adam is going to win $7.60?
Oh,
How confident are we in this? I placed a bet, a $2 Steve at Sports Interaction on McDavid. And you could still place this bet, although the odds are getting harder and harder.
I need him to not score a goal for the rest of the year.
It's the McGoals bet. Now, Steve bet 50 to 55 goals
I
for
thought
Connor
he would
McDavid.
slow down.
I bet
He didn't.
65 to 70.
Oh,
Oh, that's a lot of. Well,
But
no, he's at 55.
He's
though.
at 55, and there's 18 games left. How confident are we that Adam wins $7.60?
I'm pretty confident, but what if they decide to rest him?
That's exactly what I'm worried about. What if he gets banged up?
Are you going to lose your mind?
But is this not the McDavid goal scoring renaissance this year? Like this year is the year it's like, doesn't matter what it is, get the puck to Connor. I know Leon Draisaitl's got a 42, but Connor McDavid like should have goofy numbers no matter what. 70 goals and probably like 80 or 90 assists.
We know not deadlines. Milestones are important to players. What a big reason Matthews scored 2 against the Red Wings last year is because he wanted the last game off. So he went into that game and the team went into that game. I think they barely wanted to win that game.
They just wanted Matthews to get his 2 goals.
Get Austin to 60. So I think the Oilers, I mean, yeah, you're prepping for the playoffs, but you can't tell me there isn't some thought of Connor could hit 70 here. So it'll be interesting after he inevitably hits 60.
Mm-hmm.
How much runway he has left and whether or not it's realistic for him to hit 70.
But he scores in bunches, right? When he scores a goal, he
night.
scores 2. Yeah, it's true. That every night, every freaking night, that guy scores.
He's getting hotter. Like it's absurd.
Jesse?
I think we can guarantee he hits 70.
Guarantee?
It's such a you're 100% right on the round number stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like he should be gunning for 70, and I think we can pretty much bank on McDavid's going to do it. If he hits 71 and screws over Adam, then it's a whole different story.
Oh, you guys will be laughing me out.
So what
I
are the
think
milestones?
70 for sure.
What are the milestones? He's at 55. 60 is a milestone. 61 is a milestone because then he beats Austin.
Yeah.
Stamkos. 65. Well, how many did Stamkos have?
Stamkos was.
I think the record in the cap era is 65 from Ovechkin.
Stamkos was 60. 60 flat. Okay, so Austin even beat Stamkos. So yeah,
Well, they
disregard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
Ovechkin had
they tied,
65 in 07 or 08. I can't remember which year.
So at least 66.
Right. So the milestones are 60, 61, 65, 66, 70.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the milestones.
I think it's 70 flat or 71.
The good news with McDavid is you never really have to worry about chasing franchise records because you're with the Oilers.
You're never gonna get them. Sorry.
It's too fucking hard.
Yeah, you're number 2. Everything.
Or number 3. Messier had some big seasons. So did Gary Curry.
Dude, if you podium on the Oilers, you're like Hall of Famer legend.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's really difficult.
Also available at Sports Interaction is the NCAA March Madness Champions Pinata pick 51-1 or 50-1 odds.
See, I'd be better off with that.
Well, because I know exactly zero about it. We're gonna have Cam from Drew and Stu on at some point, and he's gonna teach us how to do a bracket properly. And it's probably gonna go in one ear and out the other because guess everybody makes those brackets as though they know what they're doing. Ooh. Jesse, you actually pay attention to NCAA.
No, I don't pay attention until this week.
Oh, this is the week?
I know. Yeah, I do all my research within 2 days, like 48 hours, and I fill out the bracket.
Me every year. Ooh, Villanova. That's a cool name.
Tar Heels. I like that.
I won last night. Before the actual Oscars, I placed a bet on Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, winning Best Picture, and they did. So I cashed that. You could do that in Sports Interaction. You place bets for the Oscars that
we know.
I won. Mm-hmm. Look at that.
I see it.
Look how much I won.
Wow. Jesse won $2.24.
Whoa. Yeah, spent it all in one place, you high roller.
Whoa.
Wow.
You won Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
That
Get out of here.
It was very good.
Out of here. That was not good.
Extremely good.
Do not give him that. Do not give him
Best supporting good.
Hey,
good.
You remember in the fall how the Liver King had to do an apology video on YouTube?
Sure.
Remember that? Hey, barbarians. Sorry to say this, but I take $10,000 worth of steroids every month. 12,000. That's why my tits are huge.
That's a lot of money.
And it is a lot of money. It's $12,000 after tax. Like, does he write that off as a business expense? Like,
probably.
He could probably make that argument. You never know.
Yeah.
But the new Liver King has got to be Jakob Chychrun.
Ugh.
This is via Craig Morgan. He said, I'm eating raw liver and raw heart, doing all this crazy stuff. The taste is awful, but your body almost craves it when you eat it consistently because it's so nutrient dense. I don't know if you've seen Chychrun with like just no sleeves. He is freaking jacked. jacked.
I am cool.
Could you eat that?
Yeah.
You could eat just raw liver.
I could try it. I wouldn't
Regularly.
order it.
Wouldn't order it.
I wouldn't order it, but like, look at me and look at him. Like, I have no problem with people eating what Liver King eats, because I'm not a nutritionist and I don't know enough about it. My problem with Liver King was never that he was the Liver King. It's that he's a fucking fraud who said,
Yeah.
if you do this, you'll get friggin' ripped. And it turns out he did $12,000 of steroids a month.
There you go. Wow.
Here's, Chychrun's on the screen. Look at this bag of milk.
Yeah, everybody listening, we're looking at Jakob Chychrun holding a giant fish.
That is
Which he ate raw.
You know what?
No.
Yeah, he is. He did. He ate it raw, Jesse.
I hope he didn't do that.
It's impressive that he's holding that fish like that. Like, how heavy is that fish?
I don't have the numbers.
Weigh it!
That's a really good question.
It's supposed to just pop up on the screen. You say, "You, sir, are a fish," and then it displays the name of the fish and the weight.
It's
Oh, that's Red Dead, and it's a video game, and it's not real. Oh, and he's got the rib tattoo, which means he knows he's in good shape. Fuck you.
You can't get a rib tattoo if you know, like you know you're going to be in shape for a while. Because that rib tattoo is not looking so hot later.
There's a reason I got a tattoo on my arms.
Right.
And not my ribs.
Also, wouldn't that hurt?
They would hurt like hell.
Ribs would hurt.
That's
a sensitive area.
It's one of the most sensitive areas, yeah. What?
It's just funny.
Yeah? That is like, what's the word? Adonis? That is a jacked human being. That's a
Statue of David.
How much does the fish weigh?
How much? I need to know. No, that's got to be like a 30-pound fish.
Yo,
at least.
can I be honest with you? As a
You've been lying this whole
What are
fucking
you
time.
about to do?
Red Dead aside, that is so freaking boring. I hated that part of the game. The fishing part? No, I like the special animal hunting's one thing,
Yeah.
but the fishing is so boring. It's the worst. I'm just wasting time.
No, well, okay, so Red Dead was we've talked about this before, but it's the game I played while we were sleep training Leo.
Right.
So like I had to stay up and like watch him on the monitor, and I'd be like, all right, well, rather than listen to him friggin' freak out or whatever, or
You gonna play some Red Dead?
I know I have to stay up. Or no, you know what it was? It wasn't, because it only took 3 days to sleep train him. He was fine.
Oh, great.
What it was he had a feeding at a certain time, and I had to just stay up, and I had nothing else to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go kayak. I'm just gonna go canoe around the world of Red Dead. Like I wasn't even doing missions. I was just having like peaceful little night sails.
Oh my
little
God.
night paddles.
One time I took a kayak over, or like a boat over to the the second base that they have.
It's spoilers
Yeah.
for the 5-year-old game.
Yeah.
Clemens Point.
Yeah, and then you said there's
My
like
favorite one.
there's that beach across there's like little sandbar.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, then the game basically made that disappear, and so I tried to swim back and I died. But sometimes if you leave your boat there too long, it just
it floats
disappears.
away.
No, I had it up on the beach and it just was gone.
How long were you away from it?
10 minutes.
It might have floated away. Because I've seen mine float away as well.
So it sounds like.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Arthur should know how to swim.
That's why you got to speed up as you're approaching the bank so that you go onto it and it stays a little sturdier on there. Come on, you should know this.
Man, I got to know. Hey, as a small business owner or hiring manager, you know that success in 2023 depends on the team you surround yourself with, right?
That's why we're a failure.
But you don't have to be. That's why you can check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs is where you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently by matching open roles with people who have those same skills, values, and experiences to help you achieve your goals. You can identify the most qualified candidates on LinkedIn Jobs and connect them fast and for free. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to screen and rate applicants based on job qualifications. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs the #1 platform for delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors, which is really great. Now, LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/SDP. That's linkedin.com/SDP to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Our next partner is pretty cool. Got to talk about Athletic Greens. If you're looking for better gut health, more energy, a stronger immune system, or you want to get better at hockey and beat Steve in a tournament finale, just like Jesse Blake did.
Yes.
That's why I lost.
I credit my taking of Athletic Greens AG1, actually, every single day for the reason why
you
I
actually
scored
do.
2 goals in hockey on Friday.
How many goals did Steve, who does not drink AG1 as regularly as you do?
A giant donut,
Oh.
which is unhealthy,
Wow.
unlike AG1, you scored 0.
I had a donut for breakfast. Did you? Someone got them. It was my birthday.
With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens, and other things to help start your day right. This is a special blend of ingredients. It supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, your focus, your aging, all these things. And Jesse swears by it for hockey, too.
I do.
Although AG1 makes no claims. I'm just throwing that out there. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health. And all you need to do is make it easy on yourself by signing up at Athletic Greens. They're going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs for you to try it with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/SDP. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/SDP to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate in daily nutritional insurance.
Luke Shen, by the way, is flying in this afternoon.
Hey,
so probably
hooray.
won't play tonight, but he'll be back this afternoon.
Wow. You know what? That is a heck of a thing to go through, getting traded and him and his wife. How are they managing? I don't know. That's a lot.
The Leafs need to be a big part of this with him because, when you're acquiring a guy in that situation, you know what you're dealing with, right? Like he's going to be away from the team for a little bit.
He's going to be exhausted.
He's going to be exhausted.
That's just the reality of a baby.
His mind is going to be a 5-hour flight west on a lot of days. But
Thank God they have 42 defensemen on this roster.
That's true.
like,
Yeah, and they're playing good defense too, so it's not like it's a desperate situation.
Excellent.
but one thing we know about the Leafs is they generally do very right by their guys. So
Sandy.
Jonathan Quick.
I'm not even criticizing them.
Jonathan Quick is 37 years old. He was traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Did not report. I don't know if they gave him a jersey or not, but he was property, Jesse, of the Columbus Blue Jackets
He might have
for
been
a few
told
days.
not to report.
And then was traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. Since joining Vegas, 37-year-old Jonathan Quick has 3 wins and 2 shutouts, including stopping 33 shots against the very freaking good Carolina Hurricanes. 4-0 win. His save percentage with Vegas is .939. With LA, it was like .839.
This dude might spite rage his way to a Stanley Cup.
Because Jonathan Quick is not... He's known to blow a gasket from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
Hot. Runs hot.
If I'm anybody in LA, I'm not upset. I'm pissed off at where was this? Like you couldn't get up for when you were here. Like Jonathan Quick could have been the starting goaltender of the LA Kings for the rest of his life if he just played like this.
Yeah.
And he didn't. So there's no excuse for like, oh, I wish I was still in LA. Fuck you guys. Look, I still have it. No, you didn't have it when you were here.
That was my thing with Patrick Kane. Like, oh, well, I know the previous 45 games were dog shit, but he's been good for a week and a half.
Have you seen my last 10? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
and have you looked at how he's been with the Rangers? Not great.
yeah, there's figuring out this. The second line doesn't work because Panarin and Kane kind of have the same game, and they're not really playing.
Worked pretty well in Chicago.
Maybe they should
It's
trade.
not working right now.
I got an idea, though.
7 years ago.
The second line needs to move.
This offseason trade Sod for Panarin, and then I think they're set. They're set. I remember Chicago fans telling me that was a good trade. Stop it.
They've been great ever since.
It's been great.
There's zero defense played with the two of them on that line.
I'm looking at the Pacific Division right now. Vegas is 3 points up on the Kings. These 3 wins that he's brought are the difference right now between LA and Vegas being, the first place race. Now, I want them to play in the first round. However, LA would go up against the Seattle Kraken, who admittedly are just happy to be here at this point. If they beat LA, that's great. But if the Seattle Kraken lose in the first round of the Los Angeles Kings, I don't think the Seattle Kraken look at that as a failure. And I am dying for a Vegas-Los Angeles rivalry, and I'm dying for a second round matchup.
Me too, but I have to apologize.
Why?
Someone asked me for fantasy hockey advice yesterday. They tweeted it at me.
Nobody should be asking you.
Why
No,
are they
first of
asking
all, you shouldn't be asking me for
You're the
advice.
last
He's right
person.
there.
It shouldn't be asking me for advice.
No. What did you say?
What did you say?
They had 4 goalies, and they're like, Steve, who do I start? I don't remember who. Oh, Georgiev was one.
Mhm.
Of course, you start Georgiev. He's
Of
having
course.
a great season, plays for the Avs. His other 3 goalies were Skinner. This was Saturday night. Skinner, Murray, so they're going up against each other, and Jonathan Quick, confirmed starter against the Hurricanes. And I said, well, you got to do Georgiev, but I don't know. I have no idea what to do with the others. And I worry that I might have screwed that person out of a shutout,
Oh.
which is like 10 points,
to be fair,
depending
though,
on your league.
to be fair, who looks at that any other way?
This is the thing. You go, it's Quick, who's been horrible against the Hurricanes. And you
Who are
go, well, I'm
incredible.
not, yeah, well, I can't do that. Yeah, incredible 1 times out of every 10, right?
No, I mean the Canes are incredible. They're a great team.
who are against the Canes, who are fucking incredible, the 2nd place in the league. And then there's Skinner, Murray, and if you're a Leaf fan, maybe you go with Murray. If you're an Oiler fan, you go with Skinner. If you're an objective fan, you probably go with the goalie who went to the All-Star game in Skinner. You don't assume that, like, arguably the 2nd worst goalie in the whole National Hockey League this season is going to get a shutout against the 2nd place team. So I'm sorry to that gentleman. I have to apologize. I fucked up.
Quick, also, just so everybody has it for the record, 3 goals against in 2 of the 3 games for the Vegas Golden Knights. So
That's
A
not
lot.
bad.
it's not, you're not a world beater. You didn't have 3
Oh,
straight
I don't think
shutouts.
anybody's claiming
You
that.
had 1 shutout versus Carolina on Saturday.
I think that they won though, and I like this storyline.
I want first round of the playoffs. It's not going to happen this way because I think Logan Thompson's coming back. Or second round of the playoffs. I want Quick versus Korpisalo.
Oh, I like that.
Beat
Two
the goalie you
former-
were traded for.
2 former Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The All Columbus Cup. By the way, I said Quick had 2 shutouts since joining
Only
Vegas.
one.
No, he has 2 shutouts this entire season.
Yes, only one.
That was my bad.
I was about to say, holy shit, he's got 2
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
And then Jesse said what he said, and I'm like, okay, something's wrong.
I got a couple messages that I wanted to talk to you guys about. First, from Jonathan in my DMs. Hey, I'm at Trent University, and this year they introduced a hockey in Canada class that takes place Mondays from 7 to 9:30 and focuses on learning about Canada through the history of hockey.
Who doesn't love an easy elective?
And each night we have a game, and we watch a little, and we have trivia. For the week's readings, and the highest scoring teams and individual players get bonus marks at the end of the semester.
Who doesn't
class.
Isn't that
love an
crazy?
easy elective?
hell? That's awesome.
great.
We love an easy elective.
And to add on to that, we even partnered with the Peterborough Petes, and we're all getting a chance to get free tickets to a game and a quick behind-the-scenes tour, which is pretty cool.
Excellent.
How cool is that?
Get to look at their weird arena.
What's the best? Yeah, it is a weird arena. I've heard it's bizarre.
It's fun. It was fun to watch Nick Robertson.
We need to go see a Jens game in Peterborough. And wear our Jens jerseys.
I don't know. I don't know, Adam. Do you fancy getting a fucking ass kicking?
Okay. I wasn't in school very long, but I can remember my favorite elective course I ever took was at Humber.
Dropping out.
No.
sorry.
That was an elective as well. But I took the history of war.
Ooh, I took
And
a
it was-
similar class.
Awesome! What a great class! Like spectacular. What was your favorite like elective bird course you ever took?
Well, I took 2 really hard histories, which was stupid.
Yeah, never take history as an elective. As an aside.
Oh fuck. I took a comedy writing class. That was a fun one. I don't think it was an elective though. There was children's lit that everyone took. It filled up really fast because everyone's like, okay, the reading material is going to be really easy. We thought we were going to be reading like kids' books and like analyzing them and like, here's how you write a kid's book, and it was going to focus on like education. No, it was on like the original like Rumpelstiltskins and And like
every
Brothers
RTA
Grimm and-
student had that exact same experience. I had it during my year too.
You took that class?
Children's Lit has this lore going into RTA, and you're like, oh, you got to get it for your elective. That's why it fills up so quick. But it
stinks.
It's just an English class. It fucking sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Did you get into like the Grimm, the Brothers Grimm?
Yeah,
Brothers Grimm.
It's just English.
I love that Family Guy where it's like in the German nursery rhymes. It's like, if you keep doing this, we'll cut off your thumbs. And then they cut off his thumbs, and that is the end.
And that is the end. No, but that's the original Brothers Grimm.
And you learn that for 6 months in your class. It's
I don't
awful.
remember Rumpelstiltskin dying
That's so
by
true.
ripping his own legs off.
Is that what happens?
I'm pretty sure.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my
Piece
gosh.
of shit course.
That's funny. Okay. All right. So my second one, and I wanted to bring this up with you guys. Hey guys, I'm from England. Been a massive fan for many years. Been following the Leafs since I watched TJ Oshie take about 20 shootouts attempts against Russia at the Sochi Olympics. If you want a list of crazy towns or cities in the UK that you can pronounce, are you guys interested?
How do we know how they're pronounced?
Well, I was thinking that we would try to pronounce them, and then we would see who from the UK understands what we're trying to pronounce, and they can tweet the videos back at us.
So this would have to be Jesse puts the name of the town on the screen.
Yeah, I guess so. Jesse, do we want to do that or no?
Sure.
We can do that in the next episode too if you want.
Sure.
Here, hey.
No, give me what is...
I'm texting him to you right now.
Okay.
Worcestershire.
The first one's easy. The first one's easy because there's a sauce named after it.
Ragu?
No. It's not that.
No. There's a place.
Is there a place called Ragu?
I don't know. Probably. Is there a place in the UK though called Ala Vodka?
No, there is not. There is
isn't?
not. I'm sorry.
Oh, heavens.
So the first one is
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Yes.
Okay. So that I think we got.
Nailed it.
The next one, Jesse.
Jesse's trying to find a YouTube video on how to pronounce it.
Okay. Here we go.
Flavor of my gravy and the colors with Worcestershire sauce rather than that gravy liquid stuff.
Why is this
On and
Rachel
on and
Ray?
on.
Why did Rachel Ray pop up in this video?
This video doesn't need to be longer than 10 seconds. Why is Rachel Ray in this video?
Aren't those usually like AI generated too? It's like Worcester. That's a funny one too. Worcestershire.
Kakokanakwoa. Kakokanakwoa.
This is quinoa.
Quinoa.
All right, this guy's intentionally doing things incorrectly. The next one.
So that when you look it up, it fucks with you.
The next one
Thanks
is the
for nothing, asshole.
the name of a city with a very famous football team, so I know what it is. Okay. So I'm not going to say it, but I want Steve to look at it, and Jesse, I know you know this one too. So you're not allowed to look at it. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Leicester.
That's right. Like, okay.
I nailed it.
Another one. This is another big
No,
suck.
hold on. I have to click a random
We
video.
are looking at how to pronounce the name of this English professional
doesn't
football
need
club
an
or
intro.
soccer club.
Oh no, you're trying to game the
sucking
algorithm.
the algorithm out of there.
We're not playing your stupid video. That's 4 minutes long to pronounce one word. Fuck you. All right, next one, Adam.
The next one. I know how to pronounce this, but Steve, do you know how to pronounce this one?
All right, it's not on the screen yet. Jesse's going to get it on the screen. I think
believe
you're
this is
fighting a losing battle against these YouTube videos, dude.
Okay. Jesse.
Horwich.
I believe that's how it's pronounced. Horwich.
Horwick, maybe.
Is it? All right. Go ahead.
Let me
Play
click
the
the
YouTube video.
Yeah, I should have said Horwick. I said Horwich, though.
Oh, piano.
Why are any of these on this-
PronounceNames.com.
Oh, pronouncenames.com.
Horwich.
Horwich.
Okay,
All right, all right. That one got to the point after their promo.
The first three were good.
Fuck.
But the next four, there's a lot of g and k and in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I got this one.
Okay. Go ahead, Jesse. What do you think?
Sedberg.
I'm going to say Sedber.
That's what I'm...
Oh,
Sedbera.
yeah, no, you're right.
Sedbera.
Let's see.
Sedbra?
Yeah.
Sedbre.
Sedbra.
I think this is in Scotland, and it's Sedbera.
Yes, with the piano.
Sedborough.
Sedbra. Well done, guys.
Bang. All right. The next one,
I don't know if it's in Scotland.
The next one is something that you might want to take if you have a cold. At least the way it's spelled. Now, I don't know how this is pronounced, but let's take a shot anyway.
It's spelled Myers cough. Literally, like Tyler Myers, the name, followed by the word cough. Myers cough. I'm going to say Mearsco.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mearsco.
I was going to say, instead of Mears, I'm going to say MERS. So,
Merska.
shit.
Mersco.
I think Adam's right.
I'm going to go with the combination of Myers cough.
Watch it just be Myers cough.
Here we go.
Myers cough.
It is.
No,
No,
there's
that's
no
not
way.
right.
No,
That's not nearly British enough.
no, that's the college. Myers cough meeting.
That's, yeah.
Right now.
There you go.
Myers cow.
Myers cow.
Myers cow.
Myers cow, maybe.
This stinks.
The
You
village in
stink.
Lancashire.
No,
No.
AI's
Boo.
wrong.
Boo.
Garbage.
Let me see this in profile. Myers.
Way to really hot potato this bit into our laps there.
Well, you
What
guys
you
have
want to do is do work that people love. Like, I think that's the
What is this?
This is from the British Council. I was hoping she'd say Myers cough
This
off
is-
the. Oh, that woman is named Morag Myers cough. Never mind.
That's her
She's
last
not
name.
talking about the place. Her name is literally
is
the place.
Well,
the final
Somebody
boss.
have to email us on that.
All right.
one, or-
Final boss of British
All right.
names.
The next one is spelled penis tone.
Penis
You're being-
tone?
You're being difficult.
I'm not. That is
my
how it is
God.
spelled.
So make me type that
Penis
in.
tone. Now, I'm going to say it's Peniston,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
but penis tone.
See, the Brits love shaving syllables off of words that are spelled with lots of them. So I'm going to go with Penston.
Oh, I like that.
Penston.
I'm gonna go. What did you say, Adam?
Penis tone.
Peniston.
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 Penston.
I like Peniston. Peniston's good.
Okay.
Cities around the UK. So make sure to stay tuned and consider subscribing for more learning.
gosh.
I'm going to beat you up.
that guy needs to get off of YouTube.
Also, come on.
Oh, now your internet's slow.
Oh, great.
Peniston.
Peniston. All right.
I don't think that was right.
Let's check
You
another
don't think
one.
so?
Let's check
Pronounce
the
name.
piano, guys.
Peniston.
Yeah. No, Peniston. Idiot.
You know that song? Finally, it happened to me
No.
right in front of my
Yeah.
face, and
What?
my lips can describe. You know, finally. You know that song? That is CC Peniston, and I know that because I didn't know how to spell or pronounce that, and the morning show host at B101 in Barrie called into the station and say, "Adam, it's CC Peniston,"
No.
because I didn't know how to pronounce it, and I pronounced it the other way.
All right.
Oh,
Penis
God.
Town was always number 2 on the British charts after S Club 7.
The last one is I think it's you would pronounce it in North American English like Berwick upon Tweed,
Mhm.
but I feel like it might be a Berwich even though it's not a CH.
Mm. Berwick Ponweed.
Okay, I want to say it's a place in Wales, and they ignore the hyphens. So I'm going to go with Berwick upon Tweed. Berwick upon Tweed.
Just say it real fast.
That's what I'm going with.
Amazing. Do we have a pronunciation, Jesse?
What are you going with?
I think it's Berwich. I'm going to say Berwich, even though it's usually a CH. I don't think it's Berwick upon Tweed. I just don't ever hear Berwick.
And you guys are settled on the upon Tweed part?
Upon Tweed.
I think it's Berwick upon Tweed or Berwick upon Twed.
Upon Tweed.
Oh.
Berwick upon Tweed.
Berwick.
Berwick Pon Tweed.
He does. Oh, Berwick upon
Berwick
Tweed.
Pon Tweed is kind of what he said.
right.
The one more time.
Upon the Tweed.
Berwick upon Tweed.
Berwick Pon Tweed.
That was the initial name of the Rihanna song before the
That's right.
producer said you
No,
can't.
you can't.
No,
we
yeah,
can't.
that's not going to catch on.
He also sent me a list of the 10 rudest names in England and the British Isles. The first one being Bitchfeld.
Oh.
The second one is Cox. The third one is lower swell. The fourth one is definitely Scotland. Scratch arsoir. The next one is Netherlong. The River Piddle and the Piddle Valley.
I like that.
There's
I
also
would move to Piddle Valley.
Sheepy Parva and Sheepy Magna, which are two villages in Leicestershire. Shitterton.
Piddle means
nice
to pee, right?
Yeah.
Shitterton is fun.
Shitterton is great.
There's also Wet Twang.
Nice.
And Fingerlingho.
Oh, no.
But it does not include my favorite Subway.
Jesse,
what happened?
have to fix that.
No.
No, you can't fix that.
No, I don't know how to fix that, Steve. That's your own problem.
Have you guys ever been to London?
Dude, it was right into my hand.
You've been to London?
Yeah, I've been to London.
Yeah, you've been to London?
No, never.
My favorite Subway stop or the tube stop is Cockfosters.
Cockfosters.
They say that unironically. Cockfosters.
We say Old Comer.
Old Comer is a station.
That's a station.
How did that end up being a station name in Toronto?
Yeah, that's a little east of here, right?
North.
Sorry, yeah, north. Yeah.
I need to know how many times that sign has been stolen.
Oh, man. Absolutely. What do you do with it after? I don't know, but you have to steal it.
Put it up in a basement. Yeah. That's a great basement sign.
Old Comer. You give it to like an older but fun relative as a birthday gift.
Yeah.
Or like a teenager who's got like a basement hang.
Yeah, I mean, like a That 70 Show basement.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Eric Foreman would have that. They stole a sign in an episode.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Adam would never steal a sign. Adam, comment?
Oh, yeah. My band in high school, our logo was the the people, like the construction sign, the digging.
Mm-hmm.
Only we went into Microsoft Paint and turned it into a guitar, so it looked like you were slamming the guitar. So we would steal signs, and then people that came to our shows started stealing signs as well.
Oh, nice.
And one of them got caught, and they had like a $250 fine leveled at them.
Oh, wow.
Because you're not, like, it's illegal, to steal a sign.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that's it, because that sign probably cost more than $250.
Probably. But yeah.
There's a Knox Avenue in the east end of Toronto. We should steal that for Liz.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
If it goes missing, it wasn't us.
No, absolutely not.
No, nor do we endorse crime.
That is important.
Do not endorse crime.
That's going to go top of this episode. Disclaimer. We do not endorse crime.
Let's do the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Cockfosters.
Quick little thing here for the presser. Coming this week on SDPN, our NBA reporter, S. Barahaney, had the chance to sit down with Malachi Flynn of the Toronto Raptors yesterday.
Very cool.
And that video interview is going to be released on the Objective Basketball podcast feed. So subscribe to that on Apple or Spotify or Google or wherever you get your podcasts, and on the SDPN YouTube where you can watch it. So yeah, he chatted with Malachi Flynn for like almost 30 minutes. Like, he gave us a lot of time. He was very chill. A lot of fun.
You said he showed up just on his own, too.
Yeah, so he showed up, no agent, no PR from the Raptors, no entourage, just him. He drove over. He lives like 10 minutes from where we filmed it at the Mattamy Athletic Center.
What's the exact address? Oh, sorry.
We filmed it at the Mattamy Athletic Center at TMU. And he's just like, he drove over 10 minutes. He parked at Loblaws, he met us up there, and then he just sat down for 30 minutes and gave us a really good interview. If you're a fan of basketball, you're going to want to listen to it, because he goes through like most of his career. Like, they kind of do a retrospective on that, and then they get into the weeds of like the current Raptors who are struggling a little bit, and he gives some insight into
and
maybe
surprisingly
why.
so, because they were there. Not a lot has changed over last year, and they were a 48 win team last year.
Yeah, you think about from where they dropped off in that series with the 76ers, and you thought like, okay, they could give them a challenge here, and then it's never even close, and then they kick off this year and it's not any better at all.
Their bench is poo.
Yeah, and they thought Jakob Chychrun getting in there would solve things, and it did for a week. The offense definitely looks better, but it hasn't really kickstarted anything into something serious.
I'm really surprised that they didn't sell at the deadline. That's just a bizarre.
Yeah,
it was bizarre.
The bench sucks. Like, that's one of the biggest problems here. There's absolutely no bench, and yeah, I don't know if Nick Nurse is going to survive this offseason.
No, what was that Laker game the other day? Friggin' OG had like the game of his life, and the bench was minus
40.
Yeah.
40?
Yeah.
40 something.
That's unbelievable.
You can't win any game.
No.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
They were outshot 61 to like 25.
Yeah.
Or something stupid. It's crazy.
It was brutal. So, I don't know. So, if you're a basketball fan, back to Malachi, great sit down.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Love that. What else we got going on, Jess?
That's it for today.
Oh, okay. Fine then. Listen, we're going to be back Wednesday. Dave Bassel will join us Wednesday as well. He is going to be tanned and back from vacation, and he's kind of excited because, and I saw him tweeting about this morning, Nino Niederreiter has worked out pretty well, as has Vlad Nemesnikov for the Jets.
Shout out Team Harveys. They won the PWHPA championship this weekend.
Woo! Love that. Love that. All right, and anything else to add, Steve?
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.